this is just going to be a spliced up video of me taking what this is, a 20 gallon long aquarium, and kind of sprucing it up a little bit. So as you can see, when we roll from left to right, I have a spot clump of anubias. We got some Java moss. I even have a crick back there that I took apart about a year back and then grew it back, and got some Java fern. Got a carpet of duckweed above, and we got some hornwort growing over here. I actually like this. I actually like this little clump over here, because I have both fish and shrimp. Now, as you go left to right, it's almost like you go from tropical rainforest to almost like the desert, or maybe like grass plains or something, where just like few plants kind of pop up or whatever. So I'm gonna try and maybe build up the back. I've got some like Vallisneria sprouts are popping up here in the front, but I think I want to put them in the back by that filter and back behind this heater to fill that part. And if you look closely, I got clumps of, it's not quite moss, it's actually a kind of algae, and it's a very, I don't like that algae. It's a very fuzzy algae. It could be a hair algae. I don't think it's bearded algae, beard algae, blackbeard algae. I don't think it's that, but I think I can clear it out and open up some of that space down there for the valve to pick up some of that light. I also think that crypt back there is gonna get going and expand, so I'm not gonna add anything around the crypt, but definitely like right there, right there, right there, right there, and you can see some of the shrimp that are definitely loving this place, and that's why I want to keep this little area going for those shrimp, so you can see them back there in the back. So I'm gonna work on this now. I did a water test, and obviously ammonia is low or none, no nitrite, but nitrates are actually between 50 and 100. And on the test strips from Aquarium Co-op, it recommends changing the water at 100. But what I've noticed with my guppies, sometimes people always talk about how they're active. They are active, but I can tell that some of the females are actually look a little bit agitated. One, they're being chased by the males. That makes it kind of agitating for them, but a few of them have clamp fins as they're swimming around, like this one here, if I can focus on her. So I think a little water change can help that. And then along that water change, do an easy green pump. Maybe move some of these valves to the back, and then add some root tabs for those Vallisneria that I grow back in the corners and in the back. And then clear out this algae in the bottom. So it's going to be a fairly big project this evening, but something fun to do. I probably won't record me actually doing it because I don't really have anything like that, but we can make this look a little bit nicer. Now about this duckweed, I actually want to keep it going. Now it might be a little bit high, so I'm gonna remove some of it and maybe actually put it in some of my smaller tanks, because I'm kind of running with this theory, and I've kind of been, it's not necessarily my own theory, but how the duckweed can pull obviously strong light, right? It's really close to light, and it has immediate access to air, like the carbon dioxide is spread. And most of the plants I use are actually low light plants, Vallisneria, Java fern, Java moss, anubias, and the filtered light, I think, actually is kind of requested by them. They actually like that, especially if I run these lights 8 or 12 hours a day. So not too concerned about the duckweed. It does get on everything, like this thing has duckweed all over it, right? So but yeah, that's what I'll do. So that's the plan. So if I'm wondering what my plan is, I'll just play this video again to figure out what I'm planning on doing. But I think I know what I want to do. All right, I'll check on you after I'm done with the water change and done kind of repositioning the plants and moving out some of them algae. Here on the right side, so I have moved up a lot of the clumpy algae and moss. A lot of what you see left is actually some detritus in the bottom, which is clumped up underneath that moss and that algae, because it wasn't able to get underneath the substrate. And my substrate isn't really deep. It's really only like an inch and maybe 2 inches deep in this area. Here's some of that. I'm gonna go ahead and clear it out. Probably, usually I split the moss out, but I'm not gonna try and do that. I'm just gonna get the rocks out of there, maybe reuse those, and then gravel back the rest of this. The reason why I did that is these awesome often clogs up the gravel back, and that scraping you hear behind me is one of the cats taking. All right, gravel back complete. It's not perfect, but I did pick up at least the right third of the tank. All that gunk that was on the bottom, that was underneath that decaying algae and moss is now this circle of brown. It's not all poop. There's a lot of plant debris that ends up down there as well, and that can also raise the ammonia, which then raises the nitrate, which then raises the nitrate. But since this tank is pretty much cycled and very, very, very weathered, pretty much goes straight to nitrate, which then plants try to pick up. But obviously, when you have so much, that it can continue to whatever. So hopefully that'll bring it down a little bit when we put some more water in. But as this is a little bit lower, I'm going to kind of rearrange some plants here if I can. This little clump of val, I want to be further back. And maybe there's some taller clumps of val here that I want to be in the back as well. The val scenario doesn't really like that, but you just have to live with it. A lot of times, once it starts going, it'll start sending out shoots, and so it'll start sending out shoots towards the front anyway. But with this lower level, we'll just go ahead and move them. And then, yeah, that's how it'll work. I'm going to show what happens after that. Okay, I moved the plants back a little bit to put in the background. So as they grow, they should grow kind of on the side back, back, and then I moved the, I had I believe it's a crypt that was kind of grown on its own here in the front, moved it to the back too. So that should be val. There's a couple crypts there, val, and then a val forest back here, hopefully. And then encourage this Java moss growth eastward along the front border here. And then probably kind of a family of cholla wood here in the upper right to encourage the moss to move as well as the shrimp to hang out in it. So you can have shrimp and you can have guppies together. You just need a lot of hiding place. Well, I mean, they're going to be fine together. Guppies aren't going to eat the shrimp, but the guppies will eat the baby shrimp, the shrimplets. So that's why I'm kind of growing this dense forest of Java moss, and the hornwort, maybe not. Hornwort I might let go this way, but the other stuff kind of provides a nice cover for not only baby fish, which you might see a few in here right now, but also baby shrimplets that can really get dug back there. But definitely a nice takeaway for the baby fish. But we'll fill this up. We'll give them some dilute. We'll dilute out those nitrates a little bit, and then we'll kind of refill them with good nutrients from the aquarium co-op Easy Green. Then I'll update within video after that. So not changing the filter yet. The filter has kind of got some algae stuff growing on it, but I'm not too concerned about that. The filter's not going to help with nitrate production, because the nitrate is not the one that is going to be affected by the cycle. That is nitrites and ammonia, and those are definitely cycling out. It's just the nitrates that aren't. So that's why we're going to leave it like that. All right, nice little close-up of a few guppies. Hey guys. And now the after. So, cleared those plants, put them in the back, which makes a like a bare area here, with a little Java moss here to the right. I think Christmas moss would look really good in here. And I believe the moss I have over here is Christmas moss. I think this is just regular old scraggly Java moss, which isn't as fun. Then decided to bring some of the hornworter on the right side. Over time, as it gets, I notice that with hornwort, it tends to float more as it becomes more mature. So we're starting to get some little areas of new growth here on this one. You see that feather light, that concentrated feather look? That's good. That's usually growing in that direction. And the hornwort just gets its nutrients from the water itself. So I have not done that yet. I have not dosed this with Easy Green, but I will. But this area really looking good to me. A nice pocket of just random Anubias, Java Fern, Windelov, some Java moss, Christmas moss type, and then some hornwort kind of left over, kind of connecting it to the top. And then under a canopy of duckweed, which I kind of cleared out. It's not as thick as it was before, but it will multiply quickly. And as it grows, that's when it kind of helps out with the nutrients here. But since I'm doing that, what I'm hoping is this area become a nice little sanctuary for the shrimp. They'll know to stay in this area and not wander out into this area too much, except maybe at night to clean up some of this detritus on the ground. Then hopefully that area back there will start growing. I'll insert a couple of root tabs again. Definitely a root tab for my, that guy. What's he called? Crypt. That crypt back there. And then maybe a couple root tabs here in the back corner for the Palestinian to get kicked off. So let's go ahead and take another brighter look. So this is with the light towards the back. What I like to do is when I'm actually feeding, to move the light forward. It's actually brighter and shows better, but it's not as easy to see in person because that's really bright in my face. But you can kind of see what I'm trying to get going here and develop kind of a little ecosystem. Lots of particles still in the water. Those will settle. This will look clear. They'll settle on the ground of the tank, and the shrimp will go to town. Working on it. So, gonna feed the fish. Actually, gonna do the. All right, so pretty sure I've got undiagnosed ADHD. I've had it all my life. I just got through with it, but at least in a video vlog type situation, I know what I'm trying to do, and I just said it right. Easy Green next. So we'll dose it with Easy Green, and then we'll do the root tabs, and then I'll feed them. Because usually when I feed, little babies right there. Little babies. Can we zoom in on them? There we go. Usually when I feed, I'm like, I fed them, I'm done. I'm done for the night, right? But I'm not done. I need to do the dosing of the stuff. So what is a root tab? Root tab is pretty much a pill of fertilizer that can go into the substrate and provide an area of nutrients down there at the substrate level below the water column. So these plants, they're cryptocorn plants. Their roots are underneath, but what I have under here isn't necessarily good for this plant to grow. It needs the proper balance of nutrients in that thing. And this is not an active substrate. This is literally just gravel. And so when you just have gravel, you gotta put in some work into there. So that right there in the middle, it's got 2 or 3 plantlets kind of growing around, and hopefully you can tap into that. Now the other spot I want to put a root tab or two is back here to encourage this growth in the valve here in the back corner. And I could probably, you know, set a root tab back here as well, but we'll just see how things go, right? So, gonna grab me another root tab. I already put one root tab in here on the right side, but that video sucked. What I did was I actually buried it back in this corner, in between these. And the next one we'll put right here. Oops. So they can access this on that end, right? And so root tab, give them that ability to get there. And then I might put another one here for this to grow out because I want them to be going too. So maybe I'll hold off. I'm done with root tabs. Easy Green all-in-one fertilizer designed for low to medium light aquariums, and that is what this is, a low to medium light aquarium. The dosage is, let me read on it, I think it's 2 drops per gallon. Yeah. Dose once a week for low light, twice a week for medium light. This is essentially a low light aquarium, but it could be medium. But I don't dose this as much as I should, and that's why it's taken a while to get to this level. So what we're trying to do is use the Easy Green to help grow out this Java fern, Java moss, Anubias, all the water column type plants, and those root tabs will take care of them, ones that have roots in the gravel. So drop everyone in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go over here now. 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. There's 40. 40 gallons, 20 gallons, 2 each. Then we feed. These guys deserve a pretty good meal, so we'll probably give them the, no, I'm not going to mix a rapashi tonight. We'll go ahead and give them the, some frozen brine shrimp inside of a Tupperware container thingy. And so what I do is fill this with tank water. Didn't quite plan this out, so let me put that pipette I have in my hand away, and then I need to lift this up, grab some tank water, but don't grab any fish because they don't necessarily like it cold. So then I kind of defrost it in here, right? And see how it's kind of breaking apart. You could just dump it in there, and most days I would dump it in there, but it's actually kind of fun to almost kind of like hand feed them this stuff. So what I usually do is take a pipette. Now you can, they're called pipettes. You're able to squeeze water out of that. These are actually used for painting, I think, or mixing paints or something like that. Got it at Michael's. Is it water? Is it like food? Can I use food with this? Probably not. No. It's probably got tons of PFAS and it's probably like bad. Plus fish. I'm not gonna eat these fish. Am I? I might, actually. You never know with how the economy's going. But if you can mix this up a little bit, and so now you see like little pieces of brine shrimp kind of breaking off. And what I like to do is kind of suck up a few in here in this little pipette, and then feed them to the fish. See it pop out there, and they go num num num, num 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 num. Well, I don't know why they're over there. Why are you guys over there? I ain't got no food over there, do I? What'd I just do? I put the food over here. Hold on. I mean, I'm still here, but let's go back out. Let's put the light to the front so you guys know what's going on. Apparently you guys want to be fed over here, so We'll take it from here. Let's bring it over here. And just take some out of here. And then boom. And then they're eating that brine shrimp. Just fun to watch. Fish enjoying eating. Now I probably wouldn't be this, obviously this slow, but to kind of develop this and kind of show it in action takes a little time. And if I'm breathing kind of hard, I'm out of shape. Sorry about that. And if I sniffle, I do that too. A couple things I'm working on. With the sniffling is because I got allergies. And there's a nice, good chunk of it. Yeah, they figured out what's going on. So I've heard that brine shrimp, I think, is kind of a diuretic for them, or something like that. It helps them poop. Maybe I'm wrong. You know how all the videos or articles you might watch over the years, and they all kind of blend together. You start believing things that maybe aren't true. This is a big chunk. Now this is why I talk about hand feeding. Sometimes I put that in there. I do stuff like that. That is a nice little way to see all the fish. And also keep an eye out for any fish that aren't coming over here. So if the fish are going to where all the other fish are, eating, you know, getting all up in here, trying to get some of that stuff. Keep an eye out for the fish that either are avoiding the food, eating the food, but spitting it out, and it's obviously food, or just being listless in general. And the good thing right now is all these guys seem willing to go after this food. So I think the water change may have helped. It probably diluted the water column nitrates a little bit. Helped out some of my fish that were struggling. And then we can kind of look back over here, how things are going. So got some of these little babies swimming around. And the great thing about feeding frozen brine shrimp is some of the female brine shrimp are still carrying eggs. And depending on how these bigger fish attack those brine shrimp, like the frozen ones, a lot of times they might make the eggs kind of scatter, and there's like tiny little pieces of brine shrimp that the babies can get to. So I'm gonna feed some over here, more towards where the babies are hanging out. At the risk they might get eaten by the guppies and the mollies, but that usually doesn't happen. But then the chunks that come off of here that don't get eaten by the bigger fish then get picked up by the baby fish. And we can actually follow a baby fish. Maybe. Yeah, I put too much water in here. Usually I mix a lot less water, so there's less stuff to worry about. So let's zoom in on a baby fish while I feed the fish around him. So everybody else is getting the big chunks of food. Will baby fish be able to get some chunks themselves? Looks like he did, see? Looks like he got another one there. So they're getting around and getting some of the smaller chunks that kind of come off. Now, other frozen food that I feed, probably they get a better chance of getting to it. I got frozen Daphnia, which is much, much smaller, and they will be able to take down the frozen Daphnia pretty much a couple of days after they're born. It takes a while for them to take down a full frozen brine shrimp, though, but enough of the brine shrimp carcasses fly around the water column for them to grab onto. And there's also other things going on in here. And when I feed normal food, I'll crush it up and they'll get to it. So that was fun. So let's go ahead and just dump the rest in here because it's all been melted. And then we'll definitely go to town now. Eating all of this, we'll put it right. We'll go zoom all the way out. We'll put it right down Broadway, right down the middle. Boom. And then we'll watch them. Maybe I should consider not putting it down where I didn't scrape the glass yet from algae. But I kind of like it. And you just see them perk up when they eat this stuff. Very high in protein. The females really start to pop in terms of their bellies. And yeah, and you can see the chunks of it are starting to get into the water column. Baby fish are starting to swim around and find some of it. And then the bigger fish are kind of finding the baby fish and they're going, hey, wait. And there's some shrimp back there. And the shrimp take advantage of it as well. So all this breaks down. The smaller bits get into the substrate and the gravel. The smaller bits float in the rudder column. Baby fish get to it. And that's the reason why we have these hiding places, so that the baby fish can get to those spots and the baby and the smaller shrimp can too. And the guppies, the mollies, these guys will go all over the tank. Low, high, on the glass, wherever. They'll just look for the food. In fact, I've seen them just squeeze themselves into this jungle here over the smallest morsel. So that's why you don't see any like Corydoras or algae eaters. So I kind of want the algae in here. And why, yeah, again, no bottom feeders really needed because the guppies kind of act like their own bottom feeders. But they also act like top feeders and middle feeders. And that's really it. And that's all the fun of working with my 20-gallon. It is a 20-gallon long. So it is a little bit different than your normal 20-gallon, that it is wider than it is tall. Obviously the normal 20 gallons that way too. So if I put it this way, you can see how it kind of takes over the whole line, and it provides more surface area, I believe, for the fish to swim. You get more dynamic action going on with them. And you can just imagine if once I start building up like the right side back there, and once this back here gets built up, we'll have like a backdrop. I could always put a background, but I think I have more fun putting like a natural backdrop of plants and stuff back there, and then have these fish swim in front of it. Is this a lot of fish? Yes, but the whole deal when it comes to having a lot of fish is, well, you better keep an eye on your water parameters, because when you got this many fish and you're feeding as much as I am, this water's gonna turn quickly, and that's what I just did earlier. Did a 20% water change, did a water test first to see what it was at, and then did the water change based on that. Either later today or tomorrow I'll do another test to see where it's at, and if it's still pretty high, I'll probably do another water change and get them down to a better number. But I don't plan on keeping all these fish. Now, what I like to do, especially with this tank, is the adults, when they get to pretty much this size right now, look at trading them in or donating them to my local fish stores. Now, there's one fish store that I use mostly, and they'll offer trade for high value type fish. Like these right here would be considered good quality mutt guppy type, almost a snake skin, but a good quality mutt guppy can be sold for about $10 a pair, which means if you trade in for credit, you'll probably get 1/5 of that. So I'll get $2 a pair. And so I bring in, say, 10 pairs, which would be 10 males, 10 females. I could come out with $20, right? But I'm not going to get actually $20. I'm going to get $20 in credit. Well, what did I just feed these guys? I fed them frozen food. And the average price for like a bubble pack of brine shrimp, Daphnia, bloodworms, it runs you about $5.99 or $6.99. And so what I end up doing is just trade them in, and I get, a lot of times I get food with it. Now, sometimes it ends up being a straight up donation because I'll go in there, and it's usually when I have a lot of fish. So I'll go in there with maybe 20 pair, and I'll come out with $40 credit. I might spend 10 and then have $30 credit, and then I lose that slip, and they just gained a donation. And I'm fine with that because I'm not trying to make a profit out of this. I'm not trying to make a profit out of it with my local fish stores. The fun part for me is being able to sit back and look at this tank like it is right now, and just enjoy the black mollies swimming around with my red blonde guppies, along with my green snake skins that are kind of hybrid with the blue galaxy guppies. And then work on it with plants, and then getting them living with shrimp, and then just allowing this to kind of continue to build on itself. Like I have this, all the fish in here, well, except for the mollies, have been grown in-house. They've been grown like either in my aquariums downstairs, where I have 7. They don't all grow in here. Sometimes they grow in separate ones. I grow them up. And in the summers, we let them go outside and have a fun old time out there. And so a lot of these spent their summer this year, their spring and summer. In fact, some of them were born outside, maybe back in like late April, early May this year. So, and then came inside during the months of September and October. And a lot of them had a chance to stay out there until about mid-October, since it stayed so warm. And so people ask, well, how do you get the guppies so big? Well, that's one way. The other way is to, at least I've been doing, is not necessarily keep them in a small amount, but these guys aren't all that big, right? But if you pay attention to the female to male ratio I have in here, there are a lot more females than there are males. And that's on purpose, because the males just harass the females like crazy. And if you give them too many females, it almost becomes a paradox of choice. They just cannot fathom this many opportunities for mating, that they'll just dance and dance and dance, and then they'll try and get one, and then where do I go next? And you kind of saw one try to do it there. I was telling a buddy of mine, like, he's like, hey, why are your guppies are so active? I'm like, well, imagine if you and maybe like 4 of your buddies were an entire sorority just hanging out. That's kind of what it's like for these guppies. They are like 5 male guppies to like 30 females. So the black mollies look good. I just cannot get them to breed out. I have 5 females. I actually got them as fry from the fish world, and they're amazing. They're just amazing quality mollies. But they all came out female. I tried to add a male, like Leartail. I tried to add a male later, and he just didn't seem interested. They might be pregnant. And black molly fry, if we see 1 or 2, then that's probably what they're doing, but most likely they're having issues. That would love to keep these guys going. I might try and attempt to find another black molly male or 2, and then just give these fish their own tank, heavily planted tank, and see if I can get some little black mollies out of it, because they are and have always been my favorite fish. Even though I have tons of guppies, the black mollies are my favorite. All right, that brings it to the end. I said I was an end earlier. No, it is ending now, and yeah, this video is probably just for me to watch at a later point, but I'll upload to YouTube and see if other people like it. That's it. I'm out of here.